You're listening to Country Music Junkies, hosted by Patrice Whiffen. This week on Country Music Junkies, I am pleased to be joined by Maddie and Jessica of Jessica Pearson and The East Wind. Ladies, how are you doing?
Hi, good.
Well, glad to hear that. I'm good. I'm hanging in. We're just taking things one day at a time throughout this craziness across the globe. But it's really nice to connect with you guys. I'm really excited to talk about your music. I'd mentioned this offline, but because we haven't done an interview before, I kind of wanted to start at the beginning of the band creation and how you guys came together initially, and maybe talk a little bit about your style as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I was working on music, and I really wanted to play with a fiddle player. I grew up on country music, and so I just knew in my heart that you can't do country without a fiddle.
Yeah.
So for me, about 5 years ago, almost 6 years now, I was starting to play live shows with original music, and I wanted to find someone to play with me on the fiddle. And so I was talking to one of my old college friends, and he actually used to live beside Maddie's family. And
oh, no way.
Maddie's whole family are fiddle players. Her mom, her sister are all violin players. And so when I had mentioned I was looking for one, he was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll just call up like my old neighbors. I'll put you in touch." And yeah, Maddie jumped on and played her first show with me. And then the next day we went out swimming because it was in the summer. And I basically told her that she could now never leave my side.
Don't you love when that happens? You just bond with someone so much and create that really organic connection. That's so cool. I love that. So talk a little bit about, obviously there's a fiddle sound, but talk a little bit about the style of your music and some of the stories that you tell too.
Of course. So we kind of describe our music as folk Canadiana. We're kind of a mix of country music, folk music, and Celtic. Both Maddie and I have, our ancestry is in Irish and Scottish, so very Celtic on our side.
Yeah.
And we just love that feel and that storytelling. I think in all three genres, the main focus is always on the story that you're telling through your music.
Of course.
That's really what's always drawn me in as a songwriter and as a musician is kind of finding those stories to tell. And so a lot of the times we write songs about what's going on in the world and like what we're going through. But then we also like to kind of go back and kind of look at history and look at our ancestry and kind of bring that up as well and kind of tell those stories. Yeah.
For sure. Now, Ready My Heart is about living life to the fullest, taking chances, taking risks, all of that sort of stuff. And that is a very relevant song, I would say, particularly for the time that we're living in. Tell us a little bit about that song and what fans can expect from it.
Yeah, so I wrote that song with one of our good friends, Tara Shannon, who's also the label head at Willow Sound Records in Ottawa. And we were just sitting outside one day, and we were kind of trying to figure out what kind of song we wanted to write, and she had written that down in her lyric book. And it was right before, actually, it was the summer before COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
And it just kind of came down to, I feel like in society, we're kind of pushed to basically come out of high school knowing exactly what we want to do and where we have to be. And it's kind of this pressure of, you need to have a steady job, you have to make an income, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I and Maddie came from families who really supported you for whatever you wanted to do, even if it was the craziest thing of becoming an artist. And I really just kind of wanted to create a song that helped other people realize that. You know, it's never too late to take a chance, and you'll never know what's going to come of your life or what's going to happen if you don't, right? If you don't move to a new city that you've never been to before, if you don't take that chance on dating that person or telling them that you like them or taking a new job that you're not quite sure you're going to like but you could love, right?
Right.
There's always that risk of failure, but if you never take that risk, you're never going to experience that joy or that success or that failure, so that when success happens and when joy happens, you can experience it even more.
Absolutely. No, and as I said, it's definitely a message that I think the world could use right now, and sort of putting that positive spin on taking chances and, seeing what happens. So I love that, and I think that's a super cool tune, and we'll be sure to include a link to that with the posting of this interview. Now, I know that is the first song released from the upcoming album. What can you tell us about that?
Yes. We're coming out with a whole, like, our first debut full-length album this year. That's coming out in October, I believe, the full thing.
Excellent.
But over the next few months, starting next month in February, we're going to be releasing a song off of the album every month.
Amazing.
So, good stuff coming up. Exactly. It's kind of been, especially in this world of COVID, you've had to learn to adapt, and we're the type of band that we thrive off of live shows. That's kind of where our whole livelihood is situated. And so for us, we wanted to try and make a more inclusive way for people to enjoy our music over the next year. And so instead of just doing the classic, you kind of have your show, you release the album, and then you go on tour, which we can't do any of that.
Yeah.
We thought we'd create more of a journey listening experience for everyone where, every month. So on February 5th, we release our next single, Burden to Carry. And the first Friday of every month, we release a song. We're going to have a little recipe for a snack that goes with every song.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Yeah, just like a little baking show every month where we're going to have people come in and join us and bake with us. Just to try and really enhance that listening experience of the album, because that's kind of what it was made for. It was made for listening together and being with people. And since we can't really be with people, we're going to try to do it as much online as we possibly can.
Oh, that's so perfect. I love that so much. Now, if fans want to check this out, connect with you guys, get the tunes, where's the best place for them to go?
So you can go and find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Jessica Pearson East Wind. You can also find us on our website, www.jessicapearsoneastwind.com. We're also on Spotify and all the streaming sites, so that's where our music will be put out to. We're also doing a bit of like an email campaign starting in March, where if you want to get the whole album before anyone else, you can sign up for our email list and get it right away.
Oh, perfect. I love that. We'll be sure to include links to all of that with the posting of this interview. Jessica, Maddie, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for chatting with us. This was so lovely.